Fuck, it is fucking hot, y'all. I know that's obvious. I had 2 panic attacks by the Jimi Hendrix thing over there. And this white girl walked by on her bike and looked confused. Like, should I say something or no? Thank you for not saying anything, white lady. That would have been weird if you did. You knew what was the right thing to do. Cool. Okay, thank you all for, I really, there's nothing that makes sitting in the heat feel better than coming when someone's like, get ready for Sanchez, and most of the crowd's like, who the fuck is that? I know, listen, I ask myself that every day. This is supposed to be comedy. It is hot, I can't think. I don't know where I'm at. Okay. Thanks. All right. This is public. I'm outside. Is that weird for anyone else now that you're like around people? Okay. It's weird for me. Do you know what is really, let's talk about a couple things. Obviously, let's talk about white people. Oh, thank you. Oh, tips, if you want. So, who else knows some white people? You don't have to raise your hand. Okay, so there are specific, has anyone spent a lot of time online, especially in the last year around quarantine and stuff like that? Maybe you've been noticing a lot of, maybe you got on TikTok a lot. One of the things I'm really noticing is there are a lot of white girls out here that are pretty sure that liking tacos is like a whole personality. Has anyone else noticed that there are white people that think liking tacos is quirky or weird? What's that about? I know there are like 2 kinds of like sort of white feminism. There's like that kind most people make fun of. That's like pumpkin spice and looking out windows or whatever they do. And then, but there's a particular other kind that I think we should make fun of more, which is the roller derby white girl. I'm sorry, I'm saying it. I like roller derby. But I'm sorry, rockabilly stuff is very close to Nazism. That's how I feel. Like, people who like the 1940s fucking scare me. I don't want to go back to the 1940s. No, thank you. I'm good. I find that weird. They're always the girls that are like, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. What the fuck is that? It's like, if you don't like being emotionally abused, you don't deserve me when I'm kind to you sometimes. I don't understand it. All right. So in case, I know I'm ethnically ambiguous, I feel very honored to be here. I should mention that, yes, I am Mexican. Thank you, couple. I miss Seattle. I live in Olympia now. No one cheers when I say I'm Mexican. But yeah, I'm Mexican. My dad's Mexican. My dad's a Mexican immigrant. He didn't sign whatever bullshit paperwork he required to get here, but it's not your business. He has a social security card. It's not in his name, but who gives a shit? I have a white mom. Anyone else have a white mom? Yeah, you are lucky. I have a white mom. She's a white lady. She's Southern as well. So she's the kind of person that pretends to faint when she's losing an argument. It's really intense. She tries really, it's like my parents are progressive, but it's hard when you're the thing that makes your family progressive, It's a lot of pressure. My mom has always wanted me to be gayer than I am, and it's really disappointing to her that I'm bisexual. And the thing is, it's also disappointing to me. Like, I agree with you. There's nothing I would like more than to not be half of everything and to just be fully, committed to something. Ugh. Oh, okay. So I have a lot of white friends, and I had this one white friend ask me a while ago if I wanted to go blackberry picking with her and her boyfriend. Yeah, and I was like, no. I don't do that shit as a hobby. Right? Okay, some people. And the thing is, my dad is really hard to make him laugh. He never laughs. I think that's probably why I'm here seeking affirmation from strangers. And so I called my dad after that happened. I was really proud of myself. And I was like, oh, Dad, I burned on Sarah so hard today. You're going to love this joke. And I told him the joke. And he goes, oh, yeah, I forgot. That was you at 16 working in the field, pulling hops. I forgot. That was you, not me. And I was like, Dad, listen, this isn't about your personal struggle right now, okay? This is about my creative process. Like, get with it. It's a good joke. Just tell me yes or no. My dad's really weird. Like, does anyone else have a parent that like affirms you by putting you down? That have that relationship? Some people, I know, and some of you don't want to clap for it, and that's valid as well. My dad, like for a while ago, I shaved my head, and my dad was like, oh, did you get gayer? And I was like, yes, I did. And then he said, cool, which I think is like Spanish for I love you. But I don't know. I have an older sister. She's 1.5 years older than me, but we're very, very different people. She's like a really good person, you know? She's like really nice and she likes people. She's always trying to convince me people have good intentions. She's the kind of adult that has a lot of frame pictures of words in her house. If anybody knows that person. She has a lot of throw pillows in like cursive that are really aggressively telling me how to calm down. I don't like it. But it's funny because now she's really settled down. She's been married for a long time. She has a kid and all that. But when we were growing up, she was like the epitome. She was the coolest player. I wanted to be her so bad. Let me give you an example. She went to prom with a guy and left that prom with the prom king, who was that guy's older brother. That's how cool my sister is. Even though she's straight, but I still think it's cool. My sister has fucked one of the Mariners pitchers. So I'm saying, should I tell you all that? Probably not. Who cares? You don't know which one. It was a long time ago. But now she's been settled down for a long time. She's married, so she hates when I tell fun stories about when we were in middle school. But when we were in middle school, because she had a lot of paramours and I had none. You know, I had guys I would go out with based on a dare. You know, because I need like $1 for a soda. One time, I had this boyfriend. His name was Stanley, and we walked home after school together. He was like walking me to my house. We stopped at a street corner, and it was like we did that thing. Like, am I supposed to kiss? Are we gonna kiss? Because when I was younger, I was always like, what is a girlfriend that's attracted to a man do? Like, am I supposed to touch you? I don't know. And I'm going in to like kiss him, and a fucking seagull flies by and shit on my upper lip. It's a true story. And then I did what like an emotionally stable person would do, which I pushed him and I was like, it's your fault, and I ran away. And I was determined. I was like, God knew that I was gay in that moment. God knew I didn't want to kiss that man. But my sister, so when we were in middle school, my parents at some point, you know, she started dating a guy she really liked because he owned a truck, and my parents did not like this man. And so my sister was very upset because she couldn't sneak him into her room because her bedroom window was nailed shut at the time. And my bedroom window wasn't nailed shut, so I was like, here's the rule. He can come through my window at night. He just has to get me McDonald's first. Which is like a real plan I made with a man. This guy called, well, he was like 18, but he called our house like late at night, and I gave him my McDonald's order. And we lived on the res at the time, real far from the city, and he would drive an hour and a half, almost 2 hours to get me chicken nuggets so he could make out with my sister. And he'd like come back with the bag at like 2 a.m. and knock on my window, and I'd be like, you got the food? And I'd seriously count all the chicken nuggets because I love my sister. I'm not trying to get ripped off, okay? She's worth it. It was a good time. And the best thing, I think, you know, her and I were both doing our favorite activity at night at that time, and that's what matters. I got to eat chicken nuggets and watch TV, and she got to make out with a man. It's like that thing. All right. I'm going to go because I'm really close to being the person that passes out on stage, and as fun as that would be for some people's videos, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be that person. Thank you. But I want to tell you one last thing, which is so I'm non-binary. Thank you. Thank you. My pronouns are they, them. People complain about it because they're fucking boring. Yeah, I know, it's the worst. I also am raising, I have a toddler. I'm raising my kid gender neutral. And so I also call them they, them. And when I was at a store, I was buying some baby stuff. And the person ringing me up was like, oh, do you have a kid? And I said, yes. And she said, how old are they? And I was like, they are 3. And she said, oh, you have twins? And I'm like, no, I have a singular child. And she said, oh, well, you said they. And I'm like, yeah, I'm raising my kid gender neutral. Their pronouns are they, them. And then she gave me that look, which was like, oh, God. Which just means like, oh, I have to think about somebody else outside of myself for a second. Fuck. And then, so she's like, okay, well, them is not plural, so just so you know. Or it's not singular, it's plural. And so I'm like, that's funny because you asked me how old they are. And she said, yeah, because I didn't know what their gender was. And I'm like, oh, me either. That's how that works. She was very upset. My parents have had a hard time figuring out my pronouns. They argue with me about them a lot. My mom is very dramatic about it. My mom always says shit like, I just feel like my daughter died. And it's like, don't feel bad for her. She saw that shit in a movie, first of all. And also, like, some people have children who have actually died, you selfish asshole. Like, we're hanging out at Christmas and you're saying this to me? Get over yourself. Ugh. My dad handled it very differently. My dad said to me one Christmas, he's like, listen, first I'd accept you were a lesbian. That was hard enough. Which is like, why'd you buy me so many puffy vests when I was a kid if you didn't want me to be gay? And then he was like, and then I'd accept you were this pan, no limits bullshit, whatever that is. Because I'm pansexual / bisexual. And my dad calls my sexuality pan, no limits bullshit. Which is very accurate, and I feel very seen by that. And then he's like, and then I'd accept this, I'm not a man, I'm not a woman, I'm a person, or whatever the fuck that is. And then he said, and then, and I'm like, and then? Where's he going? Like, what could possibly be the top of this bullshit, like, disappointment pyramid he's building for himself? And he's like, and then I'd accept you were a fucking vegetarian. Thank you all so much. Stay cool as much as you can. Thank you all for being here and staying here as long as you have.